Good morning, P4s. Today we're going to look at fractions of shapes. We're going to look at finding half, finding quarter, finding 1/3, finding 3/4 and finding 2/4. To find half of a shape, we cut it into two equal parts. Now that's a very important word, equal. They have to be the same. So though these shapes are all different, each of them have been able to be cut in half. The same with these shapes. If you look at the top, you'll see how we write half. We can write it in words, spelt H-A-L-F, or we can write it in numbers. When we write a fraction in a number, we write one number over another. The number at the bottom is the denominator. It is the number of pieces altogether that the item has been cut into. So for example, this pizza has been cut into 4 slices. They are 4 equal slices. The number on the top is the numerator, and it talks about the number of pieces we are actually talking about. So in this case, 3 of the pieces are highlighted. So it's 3/4, or otherwise called 3/4. Let's get back to those halves again. It's written 1/2. 1/2 because the denominator, the number of pieces it's been cut into, is 2. However, we are only looking at one of those pieces, so it's 1 as the numerator. So 1 piece out of 2 is what we are talking about when we say half. To find a quarter is to cut the item into 4 equal pieces. So the denominator becomes 4 because there are 4 pieces. If we are talking about one of those pieces, the numerator is 1. So the number on the top is 1. So a quarter is written 1/4, or Q-U-A-R-T-E-R if you're writing it as a word. There are many different ways to find quarters. Let's have a look at 1/3. Again, how many pieces has it been cut into? Well, it has been cut into 3 equal pieces. How many pieces are we talking about? Well, we're talking about 1. So the denominator is 3, the numerator is 1, and we say 1/3. Sometimes, even when the shape is the same, there is more than one way to find a fraction. So though these are both squares, I can find a third in 2 different ways. If we wanted 3/4, well, if you remember, quarters has a denominator of 4, so we cut it into 4 equal pieces. And this time, instead of talking about one of the pieces, you talk about 3 of the pieces. So it becomes 3/4. So 3 pieces out of 4. 2/4 can be written as 2/4. If you cut an item into 4 equal pieces, you will see that 2/4 is also the same as another fraction, the half. So let's have a go at some questions. So question A. First thing we need to do is look at how many pieces there are. Well, in this case there are 3. So the denominator is 3. How many pieces are coloured in? 1. So the numerator is 1. So it is 1/3. Let's have a look at question B. How many pieces are there? Well, there are 5 pieces. So the denominator is 5. Now we need to look at how many pieces are coloured in. Well, there are 3 pieces coloured in. So the fraction is 3/5 or 3/5. Let's have a look at question C. How many pieces has it been cut into? Well, it's been cut into 4 pieces. And how many are coloured in? 2 pieces have been coloured in. So it is written 2/4. There's another way of writing it as well. It is also half. These are called equivalent fractions. Fractions written differently but mean the same thing. Look at question D. How many pieces has it been cut into? Well, it's been cut into 6 pieces and 4 of them are coloured. So it is 4/6 or 4/6. There is also another equivalent fraction here, which is 2/3. If you look at the equivalent fractions, you might see a pattern. For example, 4 divided by 2 is 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3, to give you your 2/3. But you'll be looking at more of them in P5. Let's have a look at question E. How many pieces has it been cut into? It has been cut into 12 pieces and 5 of the pieces have been coloured. So you get 5/12. With question F, there are 10 pieces altogether. So the denominator is 10 and 6 pieces have been coloured. So the numerator is 6. So you get 6/10. Remember, the number at the bottom is how many pieces altogether. The number on the top is how many pieces we are talking about. Sometimes that's the coloured bit, sometimes it's not the coloured bit. Let's have a look at G. Count how many pieces it's been cut into. And I get 9. How many pieces have been coloured? 4. So we end up with 4/9. 4 pieces have been coloured out of 9. Let's have a look at H. How many pieces are there altogether? Well, there are 20 pieces and 14 have been coloured in. Again, you could write an equivalent fraction for this. As I said, you will be doing more of this in P5. So for example, 14 divided by 2 is 7 and 20 divided by 2 gives you 10. So you can also write it as 7/10. Last example I'm going to give you is quite a crazy shape. Okay, so be careful counting all those pieces. So in this case there are 32 pieces and there are 7 pieces coloured in. So there are 7 pieces shaded, so 7 is the numerator. We could also write the fraction of pieces that are not coloured in. So again, the denominator would be the same because it's the number of pieces it's been cut into has not changed. So it would still be 32 on the bottom. But in this case, we count up the pieces that are not coloured in and we end up with 25. So in this case, there are 7 30-seconds coloured in and 25 30-seconds not coloured in.